When you've built your fame off controversy, sometimes the internet reminds you not all attention is good attention. That's exactly what happened when Ray J, an R&B legend known more for smooth vocals than social drama, decided to step into a storm involving 6ix9ine and Sukihana. It started as a small spark online, a few jokes, some comments, and a wave of reactions that seemed harmless at first. But in today's social media culture, nothing stays small. In a matter of hours, it exploded into a viral moment, complete with hashtags, memes, outrage, and fan wars. On one side was 6ix9ine, the self-proclaimed king of internet chaos, a man who's built an empire out of trolling, scandal, and pure spectacle. On the other was Ray J, a man who's seen every side of fame, the music, the money, the madness, and the redemption. And caught in between them, Sukihana, a woman often underestimated, often misunderstood, and now right in the middle of a digital hurricane she didn't even start. This isn't just a story about gossip. It's about respect, legacy, and the culture clash between two generations of fame. Because when Ray J spoke up, it wasn't just a clapback, it was a statement, and it made the world pay attention. Like most modern beefs, it didn't begin in a studio. It began on a screen. 6ix9ine, who has made a career out of being both the clown and the villain of hip-hop, made remarks about Sukihana that crossed a line. Some called it disrespectful, others called it trolling, but everyone agreed it was unnecessary. The clip spread fast. Within hours, it was everywhere. On Instagram stories, TikTok edits, Twitter threads, and even in YouTube commentary channels dissecting every word. Sukihana's fans were furious. People called out the double standard. Why do women in hip-hop always get mocked for being confident, while men get called geniuses for doing the same thing? For a while, it seemed like Sukihana would just shrug it off. She's been through public criticism before. From her music videos to her outspoken persona, she's used to being talked about. But then something unexpected happened. Ray J, yes, that Ray J, saw the clip and he wasn't having it. The same man who gave us One Wish, who turned reality TV into an art form, and who has become something of an elder statesman in the culture, decided to speak out. He didn't yell, he didn't threaten. He simply said what millions of people were thinking. There's a difference between clout and cruelty. And that's when everything changed. Ray J's reaction wasn't some implosive moment for views, it came from something deeper. He's been in this industry long enough to understand how narratives get built. He's seen women torn down for being bold, and he's watched how easily public opinion can flip from love to hate with one headline. So when he spoke, his tone wasn't angry, it was disappointed. He said 6ix9ine needed to learn respect, not for popularity, but for humanity. Fans immediately noticed the difference. Here was a man who didn't need to trend, who didn't need the spotlight, standing up because it was the right thing to do. And in an industry where silence often equals safety, that made Ray J's words hit harder. Insiders close to him say this wasn't about Sukihana specifically, it was about the pattern, about how black women in entertainment are constantly used as punchlines or bait for virality. And Ray J wasn't going to stay quiet this time. He told followers, "You can't keep disrespecting women and expect the culture to applaud it." That single line echoed across social media like a sermon. Fans, journalists, and even other artists reposted it with the caption, "Finally, someone said it." The moment he spoke up, the internet took sides. Some praised him for defending Sukihana and bringing a moral compass back to hip-hop conversations. Others accused him of inserting himself into drama that didn't concern him, but no matter what people thought, one thing was undeniable. Ray J had flicked the script.
Hey, 6ix9ine, like, who the fuck you think you talking about? Don't you ever talk about my hoe, nigga?
If there's one thing 6ix9ine knows how to do, it's turn backlash into free promotion. So of course he responded, and in true 6ix9ine fashion, he went all in. He mocked Ray J online, threw jabs on Instagram Live, and even used humor to deflect from the seriousness of the moment. It was classic distraction, make it funny, make it wild, and hope people forget the original issue. But this time it didn't work. Because for once, the internet wasn't laughing with him, they were laughing at him. Even some of his longtime fans admitted he was losing his touch. The trolling felt forced, the outrage felt staged, and the energy that once made him unstoppable now made him look insecure. Meanwhile, Ray J stayed silent. He didn't feed the fire, he didn't clap back, and that silence spoke louder than anything. You see, Ray J didn't need to argue, he already won the moral high ground. Every time 6ix9ine tried to twist the narrative, fans reminded him that disrespecting women wasn't content, it was just low. Behind the scenes, industry blogs started speculating that 6ix9ine's team was nervous, not because of Ray J's influence, but because this time his name was trending for the wrong reasons. Instead of being seen as the rebellious underdog, he was being seen as the problem. That's when the beef stopped being funny. It turned into a cultural moment, one that exposed the widening gap between real artists and viral personalities.
Mad, he's mad, she's mad, big fan, ha ha.
While Ray J and 6ix9ine's names dominated headlines, Sukihana played the situation with surprising grace. Instead of going off online or dropping a diss, she chose silence, and that silence became her power. Because in a world addicted to noise, being quiet can sometimes be the loudest statement. Her supporters flooded social media, turning her into a symbol of resilience. Women from across the industry praised her for handling things with class. And ironically, the very incident meant to embarrass her ended up elevating her. She became the center of conversation about how women are treated in hip-hop, especially outspoken ones. Sukihana's name began trending alongside words like respect, empowerment, and accountability. Her following grew, her streams went up, and her confidence turned the narrative upside down. Instead of being the victim, she became the lesson. Ray J's support only amplified that shift. It wasn't about protecting her, it was about acknowledging her humanity. And that changed the tone of the entire conversation. For once, hip-hop fans weren't just arguing about bars or numbers, they were talking about character. That's rare. And that's what made this beef different from all the others. Let's be honest, none of this would have blown up if the internet didn't feed on chaos. The Ray J 6ix9ine Sukihana situation was tailor-made for the algorithm: a wild rapper, a respected veteran, and a controversial female artist. Three personalities from different corners of fame colliding in real time. Within 24 hours, clips of the feud hit millions of views. Commentators were dropping explainer videos, gossip blogs were recycling the same quote into 10 headlines, and fans were creating memes faster than news outlets could report the story. Hashtag Ray J, hashtag Sukihana, hashtag 6ix9ine, all trending. And every time someone shared a clip, the platforms rewarded it. That's the new economy of fame. Controversy pays better than talent, and Ray J knew that. He's been in this business long enough to understand how it works. But he also knew the danger of it. Because once something becomes content, it stops being human. The pain, the pride, the emotions, they get turned into hashtags. And that's what this moment exposed. 6ix9ine turned disrespect into engagement, Ray J turned accountability into awareness, and the world got to choose which one mattered more. To really understand why Ray J reacted the way he did, you have to look at his journey. This is a man who's been in the spotlight since his teenage years, who's seen fame twist friends into enemies and success into a curse. He's had public controversies, viral moments, and redemption arcs. So when he sees someone like 6ix9ine repeat the same cycle, using disrespect as a marketing plan, it hits different. Ray J isn't trying to be a hero. He's just someone who's learned that every headline has a human cost. And this time, he refused to let that cost fall on another woman's back. In interviews, Ray J Circle described him as focused on legacy. He's not chasing clout, he's protecting his name, his family, and the culture he came from. So stepping into this situation wasn't about drama, it was about dignity. He saw an industry that had lost its balance, and he wasn't afraid to call it out, even if it meant facing backlash, even if it meant being called old school. Because for Ray J, being real will always be cooler than being viral. The reaction was massive and divided. Half of social media praised Ray J for stepping up. They called him the uncle the culture needed and thanked him for saying what everyone else was afraid to. Memes of Ray J with angel wings and the caption "Defender of R&B" flooded Twitter. The other half called him out for chasing clout. They argued that he should have stayed quiet, that 6ix9ine's antics weren't worth dignifying with a response. But here's the thing, those arguments only proved his point. We live in a world where silence is rewarded more than integrity, where doing the right thing is labeled as attention-seeking. And that's what made this story stick. Because whether you agreed with Ray J or not, you couldn't ignore him. What this whole situation revealed was something deeper about hip-hop and internet fame. The culture has changed. Once upon a time, beefs were settled in music, through clever bars and creative competition. Now they're fought in comments, captions, and algorithm-driven echo chambers. Ray J's involvement felt like a reset button, a reminder of an era when artists still cared about how they represented themselves. He wasn't trying to bring back the past, he was just reminding everyone that respect still matters. And 6ix9ine, intentionally or not, became the perfect example of what happens when you lose it. Even media outlets started shifting tone. Instead of laughing at the drama, they began discussing the message behind it. Suddenly, viral beef had turned into a think piece about cultural accountability. And that's the irony. 6ix9ine, the master of manipulation, accidentally helped Ray J start a real conversation. For Sukihana, this wasn't just another headline, it was a turning point. She's always been a polarizing figure, loud, unapologetic, and fearless. But for once, the narrative around her wasn't about her behavior or her image. It was about how she deserved respect. Ray J's defense reframed her in the public eye. Suddenly, she wasn't just that wild reality star. She was a woman being defended on principle. It gave her space to own her story, and she did. Sukihana didn't have to argue. She let the culture do it for her. And in doing so, she walked away with something rare, public empathy. Behind all the noise, that might have been the biggest win of all. When you strip away the headlines, this whole situation boils down to one thing: loyalty. Ray J's loyalty to decency, Sukihana's loyalty to self-respect, and 6ix9ine's loyalty to chaos. Each of them represents a different side of fame. One uses it to uplift, one to express, and one to provoke. And together, they show exactly how unpredictable this new entertainment world has become. But beyond the beef and the memes, there's a real message here, that even in the messiest corners of celebrity culture, integrity can still cut through.
In the end, this wasn't about who won the argument. It was about who stayed real when everyone else played a character. Ray J didn't expose 6ix9ine, he exposed the game. A game where outrage equals profit, disrespect equals visibility, and silence equals defeat. But by refusing to stoop to 6ix9ine's level, Ray J proved something powerful. You can go viral without losing yourself. And for once, the internet rewarded that. The memes faded, the noise died down, but one thing stayed: respect. Because in a culture obsessed with exposure, Ray J reminded everyone of the only thing that never goes out of style: authenticity.